Have you ever walked into a room that felt twice its size and couldn't figure out why? Saturday morning, Mifflin County, Pennsylvania. A farmhouse parlor, maybe 12 feet by 14. A wood stove sits in the corner. Two rocking chairs face each other, a small table between them holding a lamp and a Bible. The floor is bare hardwood, and you can see every inch of it. One built-in cabinet against the wall, door closed flat. Nothing else. The room feels large. It is not. Now here's the thing. That family doesn't own less than you do. Walk through the rest of that house, and you'll find canning jars by the hundreds, bolts of fabric stacked to the ceiling, a workshop full of tools, and a kitchen that feeds 9 people 3 meals a day. The difference isn't how much they own, it's where they put it. Amish communities now live in more than 30 states. Houses in those communities run large families through tight rooms, the same way every time. Store up, store in, never store out. 12 ideas. All of them cheap, most of them free. None of them require a barn, a farm, or a religion. And the first one works in any room in your house tonight. 1. The one-object surface. Look at your kitchen counter right now. Count what's sitting on it. The toaster, the knife block, the paper towel holder, the fruit bowl nobody eats from, the mail that landed there Tuesday. Now picture the counter in that farmhouse kitchen. A cutting board, a crock of wooden spoons. That's it. Everything else hangs on a rail or lives behind a cabinet door. Most of us treat every flat surface like a shelf. Anything that comes through the front door finds a counter, a table, a dresser top, and it stays. A week later, you can't see the wood underneath. In a plain kitchen, the surface is floor for your hands. You cook on it, you wipe it clean. It stays clear because somebody decided it would. Pick one surface tonight, clear it to one thing, put the rest somewhere with a door. The surface isn't the storage, it never was. But the wall above it? That's where this gets interesting. 2. The peg rail. Walk into an Amish kitchen on a January morning, and the first thing you notice isn't on the counter, it's on the wall. A wooden rail, usually oak or maple, runs the length of the room about 5 feet up. Pegs every 6 inches. Mugs hang from it. A dish towel, a dustpan, a set of scissors, a small mirror. Things you'd normally drop in a drawer or leave on the counter, all of them up and visible and out of the way. This idea comes straight from the Shakers, and the logic hasn't changed in 200 years. If you can see it, you can find it. If it hangs on the wall, the drawer is empty, and the counter is clear. Here's the kicker. A peg rail costs almost nothing. A piece of oak, a handful of wooden dowels, and 4 screws. Mount it wherever you reach for something every day. Take it off the counter, out of the drawer, off the floor. When was the last time you opened a drawer and found what you needed on the first try? Step into a children's bedroom in an Indiana settlement, and you'll find the same idea working underneath the furniture. 3. Drawers built under the bed. An Elkhart County farmhouse. Evening, and the kerosene lamp is burning low. 4 children share one bedroom. 2 beds, a small dresser, a row of pegs on the wall. No toy bins. No plastic tubs. No pile of shoes kicked under the bed frame. Pull the quilt aside and look underneath. Built into the frame, flush with the sides, 2 wide drawers on wooden runners. Clothes, socks, a pair of church shoes. Everything a child needs in the morning, arm's reach from where they slept. Most of us shove bins under the bed and call it storage. Bins catch dust, slide around, and hold things we forget we own. A built-in drawer pulls out flat, holds twice as much, and a child of 6 can manage it without help. You don't need to build your own bed frame. Rolling underbed drawers from any hardware store do the same job for under $30. The space under a bed is real square footage, not a graveyard for things you'll never find again. So where does a house with 9 people put the mop, the broom, the bucket, and every cleaning supply they own? 4. The understair closet. Under the stairs. That's where. In most Amish farmhouses, The space beneath the staircase isn't wasted on a coat catch-all or left sealed behind drywall. It's a narrow closet, maybe 2 feet deep and the width of one person, fitted with shelves from floor to the angled ceiling. Every cleaning supply in the house lives there. Broom, mop, bucket, vinegar, rags, brushes. One door, one place. Spring cleaning in many plain households starts the same way every year. That closet door opens, and everything needed for the next 2 days comes out in one trip. No hunting, no checking 3 rooms. Most of us keep the broom in the kitchen, the mop in the laundry room, the cleaning spray under the bathroom sink, and the bucket in the garage. 5 rooms for things that belong together. You might not have a stair closet, but any closet with a few narrow shelves can hold every cleaning tool you own. One place, one trip. A house runs better when things that belong together live together. Meanwhile, most of us walk past the front door and drop everything on the nearest chair. 5. The mudroom hook and bench. 5:30 on a February morning, and the mudroom in a Lancaster County farmhouse is already working. 6 hooks on the wall, each one assigned. A coat, a hat, a scarf. Below them, a wooden bench with a hinged lid. Lift it and you'll find gloves, boot liners, and a set of work clothes folded flat. Above the hooks, one shelf running the length of the wall. Lunch pails, a lantern. Every person in that house knows which hook belongs to them. Nothing ends up on the floor. Nothing ends up draped across a kitchen chair. Here's the part most people miss. That bench isn't just a seat, it's storage. The shelf isn't decoration. Boot level to ceiling, the whole wall works. You don't need a farmhouse mudroom. A wall near your door, 3 hooks per person, and a shelf above them does the same thing. If it touches the floor, it doesn't belong there yet. How many coats are on your kitchen chairs right now? So far, everything we've covered fits between the front door and the bedroom. The next one goes deeper, into the room most people never think about until it overflows. 6. Ceiling height shelves. Walk into the pantry of that Mifflin County farmhouse in late August, and the woman who runs it is stacking jars from the summer's canning. The shelves start 6 inches off the floor and climb to the ceiling. Not to eye level, to the ceiling. The heaviest crocks sit at the bottom. Everything between is sorted by season. Most of us stop shelves at about 5.5 feet. That leaves a foot of dead air at the top of every room. In a 10 by 12 pantry, that gap adds up to 10 square feet of storage. Free. Already there. Never used. A step stool on a hook behind the pantry door puts it all within reach. And here's the quiet part. In many Amish homes, the shelves go in before the family does. The builder measures the room, and storage is finished before the first box comes through the door. Step into the hallway, and you'll find a shelf so narrow you might walk right past it. 7. The narrow wall shelf. Halfway down the hallway of a Holmes County farmhouse, about chest height, a strip of wood runs the length of the wall. 3 inches deep, maybe 4. You'd barely notice it. But look at what sits there. A kerosene lamp, a box of matches, a pair of reading glasses, a small clock, a spool of thread, a thimble, and a needle stuck through a scrap of fabric. None of those things belong in a drawer. None of them belong on a table. They belong in the hallway, because that's where people pass through, and whoever needs them grabs them without stopping. A shelf this narrow takes nothing from the room. You don't bump into it. You don't walk around it. It doesn't compete with the floor or the furniture. It just holds the small things that drift around a house and end up in a junk drawer nobody opens on purpose. Most of us look at a hallway and see a wall, a 3-inch shelf, a few finish nails, and suddenly that wall carries its weight. That was 7. And the next one costs nothing at all. So where's the storage you walk past every day and never notice? 8. The back of every door. Open the bedroom door in a farmhouse on a June evening and look at the side you never think about. The back. 2 wooden pegs, screwed in at shoulder height. A nightgown hangs from one, a work apron from the other. Close the door, and they disappear. Open it, and they're right where you need them. Now walk through the rest of that house and check every interior door. The bathroom door holds a towel and a robe. The children's door holds tomorrow's clothes, laid out the night before. The closet door, the inside of the closet door, holds a dustpan and a hand broom. The pantry door holds a step stool on a hook. Every single door in the house is working. Stay with me for a second. Count the interior doors in your home. Bedroom, bathroom, closet, hall closet, pantry, laundry room, guest room. Most people have 8, 10, sometimes 12 interior doors. That's 16 to 24 surfaces, front and back, and nearly all of them hold nothing. In a plain household, both sides of a door are walls, and a wall is always storage. So far, everything we've covered, you could hang or build. The last 4 are habits, not hardware. And they're the reason the hardware works. This is the one I'd start with, because it costs exactly 2 pegs and 2 screws. You don't need to buy anything you don't already have. Pick one door tonight. Hang the thing you always drape over a chair. Close the door and watch it vanish. And the next idea? It's sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now, taking up space it doesn't need. 9. Own what nests. Harvest week in a plain kitchen, and the counter is covered with tomatoes, peppers, and green beans waiting to be put up. But the cookware? All put away. Every pot sits inside the next size up. Every bowl stacks into the one below. The mixing bowls, the crocks, the cast iron pans, all nested. Open the cabinet and you'll see 3 cast iron skillets stacked with a cloth between each one, taking up the space of a single pan. 4 mixing bowls, largest on the bottom, smallest on top. A set of stoneware crocks, each one fitting inside the next. Most of us own cookware that doesn't stack. Pots with glass lids that won't sit flat. And the Tupperware drawer. You know the one. Lids that match nothing. Containers that fit inside nothing. Every time you open it, something falls out. In a kitchen feeding 9 people 3 meals a day, cabinet space runs out fast. If it doesn't nest, it doesn't stay. The rule sounds small. It changes a cabinet. But there's one piece of carpentry in that farmhouse you noticed in the first 30 seconds, and haven't thought about since. 10. The flat closing cabinet. Winter afternoon in the sewing room. The woman from that Mifflin County parlor stands at a cabinet built into the wall between 2 windows. She opens the door, pulls out a bolt of dark blue fabric, and closes it. The door sits flush with the wall. No handle sticking out, no hinge exposed. Closed, it looks like part of the wall itself. Remember the first room you saw in this video? The parlor, 12 by 14, 2 rocking chairs, a wood stove, and 1 cabinet with a door that closed flat. Now you know why. A door that swings out steals floor space. It blocks a walkway. It collides with a chair. In a 12 by 14 room, 6 inches of swing is the difference between breathing and crowding. A flat closing door takes nothing from the room when it shuts. The storage lives inside the wall. Most of us live with cabinet doors that swing open and stay open. Kitchen cabinets, closet doors, all reaching into the room, catching a hip when you turn. When was the last time you closed a cabinet door and felt the room change around you? That principle runs through every room inside the house. But step through the back door, and you'll find it working in the other direction. 11. Seasonal rotation. Early March, and the workshop behind the barn smells like sawdust and cold metal. A man in his 50s stands at a workbench, pulling down the garden tools that spent the winter hanging on the far wall. Rakes, hose, a spade, a hand cultivator. They go into a wheelbarrow and head for the shed, coming back the other way. The ice scraper, the snow shovel, the kerosene heater, the wool horse blanket. Those go up on the hooks where the garden tools just came down. Same hooks, same wall, different season. A plain household doesn't store everything all the time. It stores what the month needs. And what the month doesn't need goes to the barn, the attic, the shop. The house stays small because it only holds what's in season. Most of us keep the snow shovel in the garage next to the beach chairs, 12 months a year. Pick one closet or one section of the garage. Pull out what belongs to last season. Box it, label it, move it somewhere you don't walk past every day. When a rough week keeps you home, knowing where everything lives matters. That was 11. And the last one doesn't take any tools at all. So what holds the other 11 together? 12. Decide where it lives before it comes home. This is the rule underneath all the others. In many plain households, nothing crosses the threshold without a place already waiting for it. Not a shelf to be built later. Not a spot that will clear up eventually. A place. Now. Before the thing arrives. Picture a farm auction. Outside Lancaster County in the spring. A woman sees a set of canning jars for a good price. Before she bids, she counts the empty space on her cellar shelves. If the jars fit, she bids. If they don't, she walks. No. I'll figure out where to put it. No. We'll make room. The room exists first, or the thing doesn't come. Most of us buy first and store second. The bags come through the door, land on the counter, and the house absorbs themly. Shelf by shelf, drawer by drawer, the house fills up. Then we rent a storage unit to hold the overflow from a house that used to be big enough. You don't need a farm auction to practice this. Next time you bring something home, stop at the door. Where does it go? Which shelf? Which hook? Which drawer? If you can't answer that before you walk in, the thing doesn't have a home yet. And a thing without a home becomes clutter the minute it crosses the threshold. This is not a storage idea. This is the idea that makes storage work. 12 ideas. A cleared surface. A peg rail. Drawers under the bed. A closet under the stairs. Hooks at the door. Shelves to the ceiling. A narrow shelf you barely see. Every door put to work. Cookware that nests. A cabinet that vanishes when it closes. A seasonal swap. And a question asked before anything comes through the door. The pattern isn't organization, it's architecture. A house built so the easy thing and the right thing are the same thing. Store up, store in, never store out. Remember that parlor? 12 by 14, 2 rocking chairs, bare hardwood you could see edge to edge. Now you know why. Everything that family owns lives inside a wall, above a door, under a bed, or behind something that closes flush. You don't need a farmhouse, a barn, or anyone's religion. You don't need all 12. Pick one. Start tonight. Which room in your house needs this the most? And if someone in your family already hung things on the wall instead of stuffing them in a drawer, tell me about that in the comments. I read every one. If one of these made you think of someone, send them this video. And if this was worth your time, the like button tells me to make more like it. Next time, we're going into the workshop, the tools that outlast the person who bought them, and why everything in that shop hangs on the wall. If you want that one to find you, subscribe. Saturday morning, Mifflin County. The parlor is still 12 by 14. The wood stove is still in the corner. And the floor is still bare. It always was.